Hi, Billy. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. I'm just going to, before we get started, I'm just going to say I went to my family home, my parents' house, a couple of years ago to clear up a few things, and I found a kind of notepad that belonged to me when I was about 10 years old, and I'd written inside this notepad top 10 best songs ever written, and all of them were blank apart from number one, which was Honey to the Bee. So there we go.
Oh, so cute.
There we go. And I even underlined ever, so that I did think that was the best song ever written. So I just thought I'd let you know that.
EVA.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
but no, I was going to begin really, I mean, by asking, like with a kind of a first album, if you interview like a band or a singer, the collection of songs that make up that album often is songs that have been with them their kind of whole life. I just wondered, is that the case as a kind of first feature from Behind the Lens? Is this a collection of ideas you've had with you for some time?
I think it has definitely been an axe to grind. Um, yeah, I mean it's 9 years ago I wrote this now. I keep saying 7, but it's not, it's 9. Because my second son had just been born. So you know what, I feel like it a lot of things culminated in Rare Beasts, and not all of them are my stories, but my instinct and my frustration, personal frustration, is in that movie.
Yeah, because I did interview last week with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he said on his directorial debut, Don John, he struggled a little bit with collaboration, and it's something now on his second directorial outing he's been so much better at. How is it navigating that for you? Because I guess when you have a first feature, which is such a kind of baby of yours, you kind of want it to go exactly as you kind of envisaged in your head, and maybe it can be hard letting go of certain elements. How is that kind of side of things for you?
Yeah, I have to say I sort of share that instinct, that sort of it's hard to let it go and let it be reinterpreted. So but I got over that pretty quickly. Like, I didn't feel terribly controlling about it, but maybe others would say that that was delusional. I don't know. I think moving forwards, I wouldn't possibly prep as hard as I prepped for this film and let the universe take over a bit. But I can't guarantee that I would do that. I just feel like I micromanaged the fuck out of it, and I think that was for a number of reasons. Yes, it was my creative baby, but also I was up against quite a lot of things with it being my first feature, but also being in it, producing it, and also being pregnant, that we didn't have an abundance of cash, and we certainly didn't have an abundance of time. So I wanted to go into it so prepped. But I don't know, I hope I would be a bit more sort of relaxed about my second movie, but who knows, could be worse. Could be a monster.
I mean, your character is so real. She's incredibly kind of like flawed and at times really likable, and you do root for her, but at times unlikable, just like any human being. How important is it? Because I still feel like that's something we still don't see too often in film, and nowhere near enough where women are concerned.
Yeah, I've definitely tried my hardest to be as authentic and as transparent as possible, and that I think that takes a toll on the viewer. Not all people, some people really relish that level of honesty. I mean, it goes beyond honesty in a way, it's sort of brutal. But it's kind of heightened, the movie, you know, you're meeting 4 people at the end of their rope in a time that where there is a sort of shared anxiety and people are slowly losing grip, which I think has never felt more true today. but certainly felt very real for me when I started writing the film. If anything, I think things have got potentially worse. So I can't remember what the original question was now. What was the original question?
Oh, it was about
authenticity. Yeah. So I just felt like if I wanted to tackle some of these issues and do the work that I really believed in and I felt was missing for myself and my peers dramatically. So I wasn't seeing these people or my experiences reflected back at me at all, certainly not as a woman, but just on a human level, I wasn't really getting that. I had to make a choice, and that the risk there is that people won't like the characters, but I sort of don't care either. Maybe I should care more, but I just think people are I think people can be awful and vulgar and terrifying in the face of rejection, and I really wanted to talk as honestly as I could about that.
Yeah. My final question before I go, it's only a short interview, sadly.
But, oh God, shit, yeah.
But
my kind of interview.
I was wondering about looking at like relationships from both perspectives as a writer. Yeah. Was it quite cathartic putting words into the mouth of your male counterparts? I think of like ABBA when they wrote "The Winner Takes It All," where they wrote a breakup song where they put the words into the mouths for their wives to sing about their breakup, if that makes sense. But anyway, I just wondered about that kind of process of, and how it was for you, and if it was quite enjoyable in some ways, kind of writing about the both sides of a relationship from a man and female perspective.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And I talk very honestly with my male counterparts or whatever, friends, about what it feels like to be a man now. So I felt like quite informed. I've also grown up around some very old school male approaches to life, and I've experienced some more modern approaches, and I just think it's all very interesting. But I really like the idea in film or drama or whatever, where you're sort of 1 minute you're drawn to one perspective and then you're sort of carried away by the other, and 1 minute you think that person's actually the good guy and then they turn out to be a bastard. Or I really like examining it. And I also feel like, certainly for the character of Mandy, like this guy that she ends up dating says, sort of reflects back to her the worst thing she thinks about herself. So that was really interesting as a piece of writing, because I think basically we can do that as humans. We can be attracted to people who are sort of who aren't very nice to us necessarily, and sort of reaffirm all the other worst thoughts we have about ourselves. And so I sort of wanted to attempt to write that as well. So yeah, it's all, to be honest, writing generally is a very satisfying experience, but I also appreciate that I'm right at the beginning of my life as a writer, a professional writer. And so I know that that's not what other writers say. More seasoned writers would say they absolutely hate sitting down and starting to write, whereas I'm at a point where I really still enjoy it.
Well, I thought it was a really great movie and directorial debut, and you got
great. Thank you.
You know, David and Kerry and everyone was so brilliant. So I thought you did a great job. I can't wait to see what you got next. Yeah.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Cheers. Well, best of luck with the release in stateside, and I'll speak to you soon one day, I'm sure. Take care.
See you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You